So hit a sweep single leg, he sprawls right away. All right, you guys just said that Ben is in bad position, but he's not. He's actually in good position. So listen to this. Some of us don't shoot enough. You don't attack the legs enough because you have been taught that this is bad position. It's not. So you're not always going to hit a grand slam in wrestling or in baseball. As long as I get on base, I'm happy, right? I don't care if I get hit with the ball. At least I'm on base. I can score a run that way. Ben, start over. So Ben, hit a single leg. He does not sprawl. Right hand low, left hand slap, elbows tight, 3 feet in a row, eyeballs and ribs, right? Stay there. So that's where we're at. That's a grand slam. He forgot to sprawl. Go ahead and hit a quick change off. Sock shoulder. No, quick change off. Yes. Tackle. Good. So that's what we want to happen. But that's not necessarily always realistic. So just bend, relax. Okay, so if I get to a leg and you sprawl, I'm in good position. Now what happens if I'm, I'm back here and all I have is a hand on your hamstring? That's still good, but it's not as good as if I'm in tight and I'm elbow deep around your knee, right? So we call it like 70-30. That's where he was. He was in, partner had a sprawl. The Ben was elbow deep behind the knee, had a slight angle. His opponent got about 30% of what he wanted. The opponent wants a down block to a front headlock. We want to be single leg, partner doesn't sprawl, which is where we were just at. So Ben still got about 70% of what he wanted. Now what happens? Sometimes we're 50-50. Sometimes you might be like 20-80. I have barely a fingertip touching your hamstring. Now that's pretty difficult, but I can pull and dive to a hand hook from there. There's still opportunity. So start thinking about, I get a 100% shot, you get a 0% sprawl. I get 50-50. Usually you're going to be somewhere around 50-50, okay? Now, if I get stuck in a front headlock, that's bad position. I got 0% of what I wanted, and my opponent got a great sprawl, okay? So if you have been taught that that is bad position, I want you to rethink your thinking. Just watch the college wrestling, just watch the NCAA wrestling tournament. What we just did earlier happens very rarely. Where Ben was with a sprawled out opponent, that's really where you're going to make your money at. That's where we're going to be all the time. So so change the way you're thinking a little bit, and let's get to the legs, okay? Attacking the legs in freestyle can be a little bit dangerous because your opponents have different ways of scoring. In folk style, the only way you're going to score on me is to get all the way behind me. You got to get past my hand, get behind me, behind the armpits. I mean, it's a miserable sport, right? Scoring a takedown in folk style is so difficult. Or defensively. If you shoot on me, for me to score on you is so difficult. That's the reason folk style is a more difficult sport than freestyle, okay? It's much more physically grueling and demanding, and technically speaking, it's just there's a control factor in freestyle and folk style that just makes it a very difficult sport, okay? But all the wrestling styles are great. They all bring something to the table. But am I telling you just to shoot a lot in folk style? No, but I'm saying you can let it fly a little bit, because when I shoot on you and you sprawl, you have a whole lot of things that have to take place before you're going to be able to get a takedown on me. Where if I shoot on you in freestyle and you sprawl, I've got to really be on my toes because you have many different easy options to score on me, you know? But from a folk style standpoint, I think you guys probably should be attacking the legs more than you are. And if you're not, it's probably because what we just said was everybody in the room pretty much admitted that Ben was in bad position. But I'm letting you know he's not in bad position. So if you were taught that that's, when you attack and your opponent sprawls, if you were taught that that's bad, No wonder you're not an offensive wrestler. No wonder you're scared on your feet. No wonder you don't take enough shots and you don't get to the legs. Hey, you get, at Oklahoma State, they said, you need to put a knee on the mat, son, right? You got to hit a knee. You wrestle 2 minutes, you never hit a knee one time. You're at Oklahoma State, we got to hit a knee, Every 20 seconds, we're on the legs, guys. So, folk style wrestling, yes. You got to hit a knee. You got to get to the legs, okay? Now, one thing I will mention for you guys, since you're high school mostly and some kids in here, do something to your opponent before you shoot. Do something to him. I can fake and chop. I can pull on your neck. You stand up, all right? And then, I head pull single leg. I can post. I can elbow pass. I can dig an underhook. And I squat and I use my underhook to pull you out of position. So I gotta screw up your stance before I shoot on you. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be very subtle, Jordan Burroughs will circle and fake a little bit, and his opponent reacts. Then his opponent's chest rises like a half of an inch, and he's in. So he makes your chest rise a half of an inch, he scores. So you don't have to break your opponent's stance severely. You just got to do something to your opponent, okay? So Ben was in good position. Rethink your thinking, and let's start becoming a takedown machine and having some fun and letting it fly. Okay, so we're going to go back to our snake and spin. Here we go, Ben.